Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie and you're watching a brand new episode of Public Praise TV. Join me as I sit with the ladies of the Massachusetts chapter of Pinky Promise, an organization that encourages women to honor God with their lives and their bodies. And then we'll be wrapping things up with the inspirational beats from the reggae gospel band Exodus, Rhythm, all this plus more fun on this brand new episode of Public Praise TV. Stay tuned, we're starting right now. Everybody, welcome to Public Praise TV. My name is Stephanie and I have the lovely guest from Pinky Promise, Massachusetts with me here. We are going to dive into what Pinky Promise is all about, what they stand for, and the work that they're doing, especially here in the Massachusetts community. So welcome, Jenny and Beth. We are so excited to have you on. Please, Jenny, let's start off. Tell us, what is the mission of Pinky Promise for a lot of the viewers who are interested?
That's such a good question, Stephanie. Well, Pinky Promise is a national organization that stresses purity and living in every area of your life, but living for God completely and totally unashamed in every area of your life. So starting off with, physical purity, but it throws into different aspects of your life as well. So from finances to how you deal with purpose and deal with other relationships that may not be romantic. So it's awesome. Love it.
I really love that. I mean, just my own experience being in Pinky Promise myself for the last 2 years, I think it's really blessed me and is eye-opening for the community, just for me to be involved in it. So one of the things that I really noticed that makes it different from a lot of organizations, and I'm glad that you mentioned that it's a nonprofit, because it's recently become a nonprofit organization through Heather Lindsay, the founder. One of the things that I've noticed is that the community and the sisterhood. So Beth, can you tell me a little bit about what that's like here?
Yes, Stephanie, I would love to. So the community within Pinky Promise is an intentional community where we connect with one another. We fellowship, and it's also on a one-on-one basis. So we do a lot of outings and events and meetings, and we go through studies that Heather posts every single month, which is such a blessing. And we, this past month, have gone apple picking, and we just make time for each other and get together and, really live life with one another. So if we have a sister whose brother passes away, we're there, we're at the funeral, whoever can show up. We show up for birthdays, events. We really just do life together and make it intentional.
I like that, doing life together. And I know because I've seen it actually being done, whether we were at weddings to birthdays to throwing graduations, right? And something too that I really think that you guys are probably being shy about is that the fact that Massachusetts, this particular chapter, has really set a tone for other chapters around the country. You guys are very organized. You guys lead through the front. You lead by example. And so talk a little bit about your interaction with just other communities and other states. Jenny, if you can, whoever.
Sure. Praise God. Honestly, I think a lot of it is through trial and error. I was blessed to honestly have Beth, and we just said our see you later to our third co-leader, Natasha, who moved down to Atlanta. But with us working together, we've learned that this is God's ministry. We just have the blessing to be stewards. And once we understood that for me personally, it took off the need to feel perfect, and it increased the desire to just listen. And I think that's the key, just listening to the need of women. And what we heard was they needed family, they needed community, they needed to feel that a church body was there for them in every area of their life. And we wanted to be that oasis for our sisters, because that's what we desired when we first came into God and felt like, oh my God, I'm a college student. I have no one around me living this life. What does it look like? So that's what do you think, Beth?
No, I definitely 100% agree with Jenny. We are an oasis for women to to come and be refreshed and encouraged. And, if you need prayer, we're going to pray together. But like we had said earlier, we also do life together. But it definitely is a place where people are able to come and be refreshed, and then also go back into their own church communities and do what it is that the Lord has placed on their heart, whether it's blogging or starting, a prayer line or whatever it is that the Lord's leading them to do in any specific area, or even just simply at work and, ministering to your coworkers or whatever it may be. We just want to be a place where women come and are continually blessed and encouraged, and it's also a place where they can be transparent with one another and be open, because we know as Christians we're not perfect, and there are times where we struggle with sin, and there are times where we really need to bear one another's burdens and in that way show the love of Christ. So our goal is to definitely be intentional in that area.
I would for sure agree. I love that you use the words oasis, oasis for women. I know there's a lot of accountability, whether it's the text at night, checking in on each other, how's the struggle going. I've definitely seen that a lot, and I've heard that a lot from a lot of the members here. And going back to what I love that you said, Beth, was that you want this to be a place where women can still go out and do what the Lord has called them to do. So Jenny, you founded this right here in Massachusetts. So how do you encourage somebody who the Lord is telling them to do something and they're afraid or they're nervous? What would you say? What would your words be to them? And tell us more of your story.
Oh. Honestly, just do it. It sounds really cliche. I'm not trying to copy Nike, but I think a lot of times we get caught up in the details of, okay, you hear God say, well, do this and take a step. And we're thinking about the whole staircase plus the house, like how many rooms I have to enter. But don't just take the step. So in 2012, was it 2012? I think it was. When Heather just requested that small groups just be created in order for women to just gather together, I remember hitting her up on Twitter saying, Heather, is there one for Boston? She's like, no, make one. I was like, okay, I'm 21, I'm in college, I just rededicated my life to God, and I've been dealing with all of this mess, and I wanted to be held accountable. I wanted to have friends who weren't just friends of church, but friends of life. So I just decided to make it. I didn't really think so much about what it looked like. I didn't really think about it as me stepping into a leadership role. I just thought of it as I wanted a sisterhood where they would help me to be the better me in God. And I know I couldn't do that by myself. So that started that. And the next step was just being a little bit stalkerish. To be honest. No, I say that lovingly, as in being consistent and persistent in pursuing friends and saying, hey, come meet with us and come see what it's like to be together in this group. So I think Beth was one of those people.
All right, ladies, so we do have to wrap it up. Thank you for being here. If anybody was interested in learning how to get involved with Pinky Promise, is there a place where they can go find that information, Beth?
Yes, absolutely, Stephanie. So Pinky Promise has its own website, and the website is www.pinkypromisemovement.com. And if anyone specifically wants to join the Massachusetts chapter, if they live in the Boston area, they can email us at mapinkypromise@gmail.com, and we'll send them a welcome letter and give them all the information they need in regards to our events and our outings.
All right, well, there you have it. Thank you, ladies, for being here. More Public Praise TV is on the way. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Within our words, an unseen power is set in motion. The tongue is a small thing, but like a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. Once spoken, our words begin blazing a trail in the hearts and lives of those around us. One kind word can demolish guilt. It can inspire hope. But the same words have also embraced hatred and executed innocence. Once spoken, our words scorch through feelings and emotions on a level that only they can produce. Your words set a chain of events beyond your control, of which you will never know. One word can destroy beliefs, harden hearts, cultivate hatred. But they can also demonstrate faith, display forgiveness, and nurture love. The power of life and death lies in a single word, and we, in the image of God, have this power in one word.
God is living in me. He's living in me, living in me. God is living in me. Oh, He's living in me, living in me. God is living in me. Yeah, yeah. He's living in me. Yeah, yeah. God is living in me. Yeah, He's living in me. Yeah, God is living in me. By His grace we are saved. Not by your power or your muscle you are saved. Not because of His love, no more disgrace. Now we no longer are slave. Never give up on yourself, no. I know the Lord is always there for you. Though your sins are like a scarlet, they shall be white as snow. I know that God will never give up on you. Keep holding on. I know it's stopping your faith, yeah. I know that God will never give up on you. Keep holding on. I know it's stopping your Come on, let me say it. It's a merciful God. Yes. It's a merciful God. So what you give is what you get. Faith is believing the unbelievable. Not because of love, no more disgrace. Now you're no longer a slave. Never give up on yourself, no. I know the Lord is always there for you. Though your sins are like a scarlet, they shall be white as snow. I know that God will never give up on you. Keep holding on. I know it's stopping more faith, yeah. I know that God will never give up on you. Keep holding on. I know it's stopping more faith, God is so merciful. Another day, Lord, I'm grateful, God. God is so merciful. Yeah. God is so merciful. Our God is a good God, yes, He is. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve.
And here is our artist spotlight.
Hey everyone, I'm Zuli Vidal, and I'm here in the Public Praise Studios joined by Richard Phillips and Carlos Del Santos of Exodus Rhythm. Welcome, guys. So glad to have you here today.
Glad to be here.
Man, if you guys are reggae fans, you're in for a treat. Richard, I want to start off by asking you, how did you get into music? How did this Exodus Rhythm thing start? Like, I know our viewers are dying to find out a little bit about you.
Well, probably in 1965, I was in the Navy and I ended up in Montego Bay in Jamaica, Ocho Rios, and I heard this rhythm at the time. At that time, it was ska music, and it sort of stuck with me. And in the 70s, I met a good friend of mine that vacations in Jamaica, and he kept bringing back 45s and 45s of the latest. And this is when Studio One and Bob Marley and all those guys were coming out.
Yeah.
And so I listened to reggae. Then I went to my first reggae concert, and I goes, wow, this music's got a rhythm. And I started traveling with different reggae bands, Cool Runnings bands, across up and down the eastern part of the United States, in Jamaica and out of Jamaica, and cut my teeth on reggae, doing shows with the Wailers, the Mighty Diamonds, the Meditations, and all these bands. So it was in my head. It was in my head. But I never really, I didn't have the voice for it. I never came across. I wanted to get a strong message, and I sort of went through ups and downs.
Okay.
And then I met this brother a couple years ago, and I said, there's the songwriter and there's the singer, and he has got a ministry called Beam to Christ, bring every available man beam, and he'll tell you more about that. But we've collaborated, and now we're working on an album, and we've got a studio in our place where we rehearse, and we're working together doing that. And most shows now are becoming concerts type things. So. Yeah.
Sounds exciting. Carlos, tell me a little bit about like when you guys met, like your musical background. I want to know.
I know. Right? Well, it's amazing how the Lord works, you know.
Yeah.
Always want to play in a band. Since I was a kid, I see people in the band, so I used to get excited. And never thought in my 40s, I would be able to. I'm playing a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Lord has been opening many doors for me. One day I was playing the guitar. I used to play the guitar in Boston in a parking lot. I used to go there 8 o'clock at night till 3 o'clock in the morning on my own van, just playing the guitar on a cold weather.
Wow.
Playing it. And one day I have one phone call to go play in Lynn, in the city of Lynn, and that's when I met Exodus Rhythm. So, you know, when God has a plan for you, he put things together.
Yeah, it was like a divine appointment. I believe it. That's awesome. So you were like dedicated
yeah, I was
musician.
looking for it. You know, I was looking for it. And today I have it. And I'm blessed with it. You know, today we have our own studio. And, you know, and I thank God to be able to be on a Praise TV today. You know what I mean? So, public Praise TV. So, this is God's truly working on our life.
Another divine connection, right? So tell me a little bit more about Beam, because I know he mentioned it, but I want to know a little bit more about that.
Well, Beam to Christ is a ministry. To tell you the truth, I don't know what is Beam to Christ, because it's big. You know, the vision is big, the ideas is big. So I really cannot tell you what Beam to Christ is about. It's just to bring every available man to Christ.
Okay.
In which way? So many ways.
So you're doing it through music, though, right?
Doing through music, doing through basically, you know, I support ministries in Uganda, orphanage children in Uganda.
Awesome.
Children's in Kenya. So, like I said, you know, Beam to Christ is a way to bring every available man to Christ.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So you told me a little bit about all these amazing bands that you got to play with. You touched a little bit on ska. Like, I know that when people talk about reggae and ska, they want to know, like, what's the difference? Tell our viewers a little bit about, like, what the difference between ska. I know ska's a little faster, but talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, ska in those islands, you know, in the Caribbean, Calypso, it's in the ska. And the ska was a great band. They used to back up Bob Marley. Mm-hmm. A Studio One band called Scatolites, and they named it after a satellite. They just said they call it Scatolites for ska, Scatolites.
Yeah.
And it can be, I heard it explained to me once, and I kind of liked it. It was like with ska, it's,
okay.
And they cut the ska in half, and they made rock steady. And they cut the rock steady in half, and they made reggae.
Okay.
So it all comes under the banner of reggae. It all comes under the banner of reggae.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and it's still popular. In Europe, they've taken ska, and the kids over there, the punks in Europe, they've done incredible things with it. The Class and the Specials, and have taken this Kingston ska slash reggae. And I was like privileged to be in a band with Lloyd Nibbs, one of Bob Marley's original drummers. And
Wow.
yeah, it's been an experience. I've been on the bus with the Wailers and did open shows with them and became friends with them. And
So if we saw your resume, it would look legendary. I love it.
yeah, but it's really nothing because I was nothing then. When I gave my heart to Jesus, things change.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so tell me
Things
about
change.
that. So you had all of these amazing experiences and you were able to do more of the traditional reggae that we were familiar with, but you gave your heart to Jesus. Tell me about how that changed the music that you're doing now.
Well, a lot of people think, and I tell a lot of people this, that when you get on let's say, we get on a small tour bus and we're going to go up and down the eastern seaboard and we're going to go all the way up the Mississippi River and do all the reggae clubs and all the big colleges and universities along the way, and you end up at a huge club in Chicago called the Wild Hare, and you say, wow, this is really amazing, every man's dream. But after 2 days on that bus,
Yeah.
it's a different world. It's not so much fun, and all the time waiting for shows. Sometimes when I was living with the Cool Runnings band, sometimes they didn't go out for, a lot of times in the winter was very slow. In the summer you work a lot. And I didn't like that. So when I gave my heart to Jesus, we started playing a lot of churches, wrote a lot of music, produced an album, and then I started meeting Annie in the band, and I met all these different people. We've had so many people come in and out, but it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, not without struggles. We're still human beings, and we have struggles. But I think when I gave my heart to Jesus, that changed things. And I'll let Carlos explain the same thing from how it affected him.
Well, when I was out there in the world, you know what I mean? I always want to sing, but I didn't want to sing the same thing that people always sing, you know what I mean? So I always hold myself on that. When I gave my life to Christ and I started reading the Bible, New King James, and I didn't even speak English at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just writing music out of the Bible, New King James. And all my songs that I have today is wrote about like 10 years ago.
Well, they've been teasing us enough. You guys are in for a treat here in the Public Praise Studios. We're gonna actually have Richard and Carlos just play some music for us, so stay tuned.
God bless. Hi, my name is Carlos Dos Santos. This is my brother Richie, the founder of Exodus Rhythm, Gospel Reggae. If you want to see us, what we have to do and what we have to show, go to Carlos Dos Santos on our Facebook page or Beam to Christ Facebook page, BEAMTO Christ, all together. Praise God.
And thanks for having us, and look for Exodus Rhythm's new Facebook page.
Everything will be alright. I got this feeling. Yes, everything will be alright. everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. On my back, I remember you. I think of you. Yes, on my back, I remember you. I think of you. To the watches of the night. Yes, Lord, because you are my helper. I will sing in the shadow of your wings. Because you are my helper. I will sing in the shadow of your wings. Yeah, I said, I will sing in the shadow of your wings, Lord. I said, I will sing in the shadow of your wings, Lord. I said, I will sing in the shadow of your wings.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode with us on Public Praise. Make sure you stay connected with us by going to our website, publicpraisetv.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. Before we go, we have some great music from Exodus, Rhythm, and until next time, be proud to proclaim and never ashamed.
I thank God for another day. As I reach out to